Hey fam, it's your boy Matty D. Happy Thursday, July 22nd. We're almost at Friday. Congrats on getting it this far. I'm so excited. It has been a long, brutal week. Today we're going to talk about what's happening with Cuba. It's brutal. Joe Biden, motherfucker. We knew he was going to be shit. We thought that maybe he might do some good because when he was first in office with Obama, they actually lowered some of the sanctions. They let Americans travel to Cuba. And when Trump chopped everything up, there was some hope that old Joe would be kind of proud of some of the stuff he accomplished with Obama and try to lighten things again. Today he proved he's just a complete piece of shit. He announced today some targeted sanctions on Cuban personalities, and in addition to that, said that this is just a start. They're going to keep going for it, even though there's progressive voices saying that they should not be doing this thing. So that's been really rough to watch because for most people outside of America, we know that this is not cool and this is not it's so frustrating. I can't even look at this picture. I'm gonna kill myself. This is so frustrating. So we know most nations are against the blockade, right? Everyone but the United States and Israel is saying this has to end. I don't understand where the States or Israel are coming from. I feel bad for the American people that they're so misinformed. Like Canada, we're lucky. We're friends with Cuba. We travel there almost as frequently as we do the States and Mexico. I think we're the number one tourists to Cuba. We take their goods. They've got great sugar, great rum, some other stuff. And they're just incredible when it comes to their medicine. Their medical prowess is amazing. They're always sending people around the world to support with their doctors and whatnot. So it's really hard to watch Americans say that the Cubans are so oppressed. And they are to some extent because the Americans are imposing some economic terrorism on them. One of the voices that I feel to be most valuable to me in my education is Rousseau. He's a Canadian guy and he has a lot of really good content and he's always fun to watch and is super chill. Today he talked a little bit on his stream about the American playbook and how what's happening in Cuba is something that's happened so many times before. The Americans confess this is what they do. Previous CIA are happy to talk about it. This is their playbook. They love to impose economic sanctions. It's a shame about what's happening to your country. Maybe if you do a little bit of regime change, then we'll let you guys have some food again. It's pretty disgusting. And it's pretty disgusting. It continues, and the people aren't aware of it. So I think it's good just to check him out because he's always anti-imperialist. He's not going to be taking the government line on things. He's going to be really analyzing it and looking at the proven sources that know what's going on. Another thing that's been helpful for me too is Boots Riley. He said some really good content and he's not on Twitter right now. I don't know if he quit or got banned, but he's always had really good stuff. And one of the voices he's been amplifying lately is a super dope Canadian by the name of Tony Tracy. And actually I'm in his thread already. Tony's a really good labor activist out here in Canada. And he talks a little bit about his experience because they travel down to the States travel down to Cuba. And that's another thing you could do if you're looking to contribute as a Canadian is as you make your vacation plans for whenever COVID's finally over, please God, make it soon. Then maybe consider Cuba. Check them out, see if there's somewhere you'd like to go because a lot of Canadians head there and they love Canadians. So that might be a good way to show some camaraderie too. But he just talks a little bit about his experience. He talks about how unjust and unfair it is that the Cubans are being persecuted the way they have. And even though they say there's violence, you look at what's happening with Canada, right? Like even yesterday's video, Canadian police were cracking down on peaceful individuals standing in solidarity with unhoused people, just wailing on them. It was absolutely brutal. And yet we look to what's happening in Cuba. We do the worst things, and Cuba needs to be democratized. Cuba needs to be seized. It's just mind-numbing. And you consider too what's happening in the States. Here's the Canadian video, right? I'm confused that the international community, including the Gasanos that were happy to reside in Miami and Southern Florida, have not taken up my call for regime change in Canada and military intervention against the regime here. Tony's always a good guy and he's got good takes too, so I love him. Here's a video from LA, right? Here's him going at peaceful protesters because I think a cop got mad somebody was taking a picture of him. Oh, cops, you dumb motherfuckers. It's so you look at this happen, right? And you look what's happening in Cuba and just It's frustrating. So you want to try to find the voices who are going to be honest with you. So Tony Tracy, Rob Rousseau, and then another good one is the Canadian Network on Cuba. And I'll try to have these guys on, and we'll try to do an interview with them and do something a little bit longer than the daily take, just to have a discussion of what's happening in Cuba and what can people do to stand in solidarity and really try to make a material difference in Cubans' lives as America tries to keep fucking it up. It's really disgusting. It's and Cuba they do so well in like the medical world, and I just want to throw this up here too. Code Pink, so they help with other nations. They help with medicine development. I think they developed two vaccines. But a part of the American blockade on them is that they don't have the access to resources to produce some of this stuff, right? So right now they really need help with syringes, and so this campaign is to help get them syringes to make sure that everybody's vaccinated and whatnot. So check out codepink.org, and if you've got some money laying around, throw it at them. And it's really kind of showing off how bad the world is, and maybe we don't have an organized left the way we thought we did, because as Obama and Biden rolled out these initiatives during their term, you think that if the left was organized, we could A, fight to keep these things, or at the very least B, fight for them once they return to office. But that's not happening. So I think it's clear again that we need to do better at talking with each other and organizing with each other. So follow the voices I've said, but also look to voices in your community, socialists and leftists, and people who are focused on how can we improve the quality of life for all people. Especially like one of the other things that came out in the States today that just really pisses me off. Breaking, the U.S. Senate votes adds $25 billion to the $743 billion defense budget. Like, this money could have easily ended homelessness in the United States. Like, $25 billion. They already are spending $743 billion. There was like this little game, and I'll try to find it, where you can type in how much different things are that you would like to buy, and you try to fantasize your way to spending as much money as like Bill Gates has, or as the U.S. spends on like defense budget. And the things you could do with just $25 billion would be so liberatory for everyone, especially you watching this, unless you're a billionaire. It could improve the infrastructure. It could give you high-speed rail. There's an unlimited amount of things. We maybe could even have already colonies on Mars as a society doing these things, instead of just billionaires doing it by exploiting us in our labor. So it's a really odd time, and it's a really good time to come together. Like I said, so I think for me, like the takeaways for me is I want to spending more time watching Rob Rousseau, more time checking out Tony Tracy, more time trying to reach out to like the Cuban solidarity networks that already exist in Canada, in my area, and then just again try to find the socialists in my area, so I'm more aligned with those who are already building power, and then they can help inform me how I can better build my own power to contribute to them. So we're all building this lovely, beautiful ecology of justice and freedom and liberation. So with that said, hopefully the next few hours for you are just wonderful, and I hope to see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for tuning in. Solidarity, comrade. I love you.